We are assembled for the conferring of degrees. Later, we'll be joined by our Chancellor, Sir Tom Allen, and by our Vice-Chancellor and Warden, Stuart Corbridge. Here, I simply want to offer my sincere congratulations to all of our graduating students and to the families, friends, and loved ones who have supported them throughout their education. Ordinarily, congregation occurs in Durham Cathedral. The pandemic has made that impossible this year, but nothing can take away from the significance of this moment. We are just incredibly proud of the achievements of each of our graduating students.
Vice Provost, the candidates to be presented at this conferral cannot attend in person. I certify that those whose names are recorded have satisfied all the requirements of the university. I make application to you to confer their awards, and I stand as proxy for them.
By the authority of the university, I admit these candidates to the degrees for which they are qualified. We now hear from our Chancellor, Sir Tom Allen.
Hello. I'm speaking to you from a room in my house into the using the lens, the tiny lens of a mobile telephone. It's a rather pathetic and sad substitute for what should have been on this occasion. I refer, of course, to the week of congregations at Durham, the donning of robes, the gathering of family and friends, a great day of celebration, what is arguably the most important day in your life so far. And what do we have instead as a result of a pandemic? This rather poor substitute. More anon. The week in Durham for me is a most extraordinary one. It's a busy one. It's a very, very, quite a hard one for me. I do 3 or 4 congregations per day. And at the end of the week, in 2021 as I speak, we see maybe 4,500 of you, something like that. I shake hands with each and every one of you, talk to some of you, and on you go on your way. You've been denied all of that, not speaking to me necessarily, but the wonderful joyous and happy moment of sharing it all with family, friends on Palace Green, a joyous, wonderful day that might never be replaced. And that's the sad thing. That's what concerns myself. I know I speak for the Vice-Chancellor and for all of the academic staff at Durham University, that such a thing hasn't happened this year, hasn't happened last either. And we need to make amends for that if we possibly can. This pandemic has been a most frightful time for all of us. You may well have your own stories to tell about it. There may be good things. There will certainly be bad, I'm sure. But somehow at the end of it, we must try to remember things that we have experienced, carry them forward, improve ourselves, improve the world in which we live, indeed. And so in order that everything doesn't have a negative label attached to it, things will have been learned, positive things will have been learned, and we need to bear that in mind. In my own profession, I know for a fact that promising young singers, musicians, whatever they might be, in just such a situation as yourselves, on the brink of going forward with their lives, might well have come to the conclusion that this has been too great a test for them, the setbacks have been too great, and they will not re-emerge. But you have a Durham degree. Now, to put it crudely, that makes you very employable in a tough jobs market. I know that's a crude way of putting it, but truth needs to be said. The Durham degree is really something rather extraordinary, because not only have you achieved great things in your own professional studies, or your serious studies, I know for a fact that the Durham experience goes along with that. And it thrills me every time I come into the university environment and see the amount of stuff that's going on outside of the laboratories, outside of lecture theatres and everything else, in theatres, in the cathedral itself, in various small small performance places, whatever might be going on, is an addendum or is an addition to everything that you have in your armory and will stand you in good stead for the years ahead. Durham has that effect on people and will be of great advantage to you for that time. For me, as I say, the donning of robes and the week itself is an extraordinary one, and I miss it terribly. I feel terribly detached at the moment from all the goings-on at the university. I know the goings-on are reduced. Nevertheless, it's awful not being a part of such an exciting and wonderful time in so many people's lives, including my own. But you have that Durham degree, and you have an association of alumni all over the world. Durham, I've always said, is rather, being in Durham, once you've had that experience, is rather like the name that goes through a piece of rock at the seaside resort. It stays with you. Durham will be in there, in your blood, in your feelings, in your experience, and it should be there. It's not a bad thing to have. This alumni association I've witnessed in America and in Japan, in mainland Europe, all over the place, and the strength of feeling for that goes back for many graduates, 40, 50 years, to their college days, to their university days, especially the college days, have a lasting and wonderful memory for them. You will have that. That will build for the future. As I speak, mountains, nay, mountain ranges are being changed and moved in order that you should have this great day in the sun. Well, it may not be the sun, of course, but a great day of congregation. You shall be hearing about that in due time. But rest assured, Durham is on the case. I think that's all I really want to say, except that what I usually say at this moment, and I shall say it again now, is to go away and be kind. This world will need kindness almost more than we have ever known in the past. It will need you to be kind and considerate to one another. And by one another, I mean anyone that you may encounter. Be kind. Have a wonderful life. Enjoy your degrees. Enjoy your journey forward. And stay well.
Now we'll hear from our Vice-Chancellor and Warden, Stuart Corbridge.
Hello everybody, my name's Stuart Corbridge. I'm the Vice-Chancellor and Warden of Durham University, and it really is a great pleasure and an honour and a privilege to say congratulations. Welcome to the community of graduates of Durham University. You've all worked extremely hard for this moment. It's a great shame that we can't be in the cathedral together, but for many of you that will come in due course. But for now, let me say once again, very well done and many congratulations. What words can we use this year? Some of you might know the great novelist from this country and essayist Martin Amis. And about 20 years ago, he published a book called The War Against Cliché. I can't think of anything other than a cliche, though, with which to begin, which is to say that this has been a year like no other. It's unavoidable to say that. In some cases, 16 months in the UK, in some cases, 18 months. We've all had to work, you've all had to work in very unusual circumstances. I mean, just think about some of the language that we've had to learn. I didn't know 16 months ago about lateral flow tests or PCR tests. I didn't know that we were going to have vaccines from AstraZeneca, Oxford AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, all the way through to Sputnik or Sinopharm or Covivax. I'd not heard about lockdowns, all of which we've had to learn to live with. And I'm acutely conscious this year that some of you, and this really is a great shame, some of you taking one-year degrees haven't even been able to come to Durham, to this wonderful city. But hopefully that will be something to look forward to in the future. But it really does bear out the fact that this is a highly unusual year and that you've done extraordinarily well to graduate, whether you've been with us for 3 or 4 years or 1 year, or even longer if you've been doing, in some cases, your doctorates. It's only took me longer than 3 or 4 years to do mine. COVID has, I think, forced us to think carefully about our lives and our responsibilities to one another. Socrates said a long, long time ago that we should all aim to live examined lives. And I think we've had to do that, haven't we, during this recent period. Lives based around learning, for sure, based around reflection and self-reflection, empathy and responsibility, but also participation. I know some of you have had to deal personally with loss, maybe of family members or friends, and I'm deeply sorry if that is the case. We've all had to reflect upon the fact that this disease, like so many others, targets some people, the elderly, the vulnerable, people that are poorer or socially deprived. We've also come together, though, to act responsibly, to care for one another. And we've all had to innovate. We've had to learn to go online, whether with Teams or Zoom, whether we're talking about synchronous learning or asynchronous learning alongside face-to-face contact. And in a sense, COVID has brought into sharp relief, I think, what an education is all about. We get education in many different contexts. We get a street education, but a formal education in a university is something which Durham takes enormous pride in. And I think at the heart of a Durham education, there are really two things. The acquisition of knowledge, very different in classics than in biosciences or in marketing or in geography, but a deepening of our knowledge base with which we seek to understand the world, and ability to be reflective and to ask those difficult questions. And I do hope you feel that whether you've been online or face-to-face with your colleagues and teachers, that emphasis on learning to think critically about life has been at the heart of the Durham experience. Equally, though, at the heart of this university is that participatory ethos, particularly in the wider student experience. The fact that you are involved ordinarily in a range of activities, whether it's sport, music, theatre, volunteering, whatever it is. And even if we've had to do it, or you've had to do it this year, mainly online, it's self-organised. And through self-organised comes a sense of community, comes a sense of responsibility. And that participatory ethos alongside the education, I think, will guide you very well as you join now this enormous club, the Dunelm Society, at least 150,000 other people who are contactable, who are members, as you are now, of the alumni community of this university. So let me say again, warm congratulations to all of you. I know that you'll all want to thank your family members and friends for the support you've received this year. I know that you'd like to thank all the members of the Durham community, all of our staff in the professional services, our academics in the student union, in the colleges, who've helped you, even if you've not even been able to get to this country and have had the help online. And you will know, therefore, that you are part of a very, very special community. You can be very proud of all that you've achieved in very difficult times. Things will get better, but you will take with you the fundamentals of living in a time that sharpens your sense of what it is to lead an examined life. So many congratulations, go well, and stay in touch with your university. Thanks, everybody.
This conferral of degrees is now concluded.